Get Warrior Tough, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
All right, we're back at it. Get Warrior Tough, most monumental hour in media. If you want to get a hold of us on the Twitter, use the hashtag Get Warrior Tough. You can find Dutch. His Twitter handle is at the Dutch Coleman. Mine is at Warrior Tough PhD. GetWarriorTough.com. Love to hear from you on this. I would love, Dutch, for people to push back on this. I'd have people, it just cracks me up. When you don't confuse me with the facts, right? Don't confuse me with the facts. But, I mean, company after company, ones that we're in, ones that we're not in, ones that we're trying to get in, it really doesn't matter. All of these things, they bear witness with me because I've seen it all inside the walls of corporate America and nonprofits and sports teams is really across the board. If there's an organization and there's people involved, these things hold true.
Facts. Facts. All facts. We want to fight. We want to fight the facts. We want to believe it's always everyone else's fault. And you know what?
Or it's another organization, not ours. Not ours.
Right. But you know what? On the surface, it does seem like it's others' fault, especially if you've been trained a certain way, because we talked about decades and decades of issues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll give you a sort of a pass if you have operated the way you've been taught. But if you're listening to us today, there's no more excuses.
Here it comes. Yeah, there it is.
Because we're giving you facts.
Yeah.
We're not telling you what we think. We're telling you what we know. And if you're not willing to be open-minded and consider these things, because one thing that I've noticed probably 20 years ago is that the root of most problems when I went to an organization, and when I say an organization, I mean something as simple as a high school, because I think that's where I first discovered the issue.
Yeah.
The issue was always in leadership.
Isn't it the truth?
And it was always like a mind-boggling, eye-opening experience every time, because when you walk in, you want to think the same thing. Oh, we just got to get the people right. We got to get the people right. Or we got to get better people. We got to get more people. We got to do this. We got to get the right kind of people. And then you realize, wow, we do have to get the right kind of people. We do have to get the people right. But it's the leadership that we have to get the right people, and we have to get their minds right. But it's never seen that way from the beginning, because a lot of the times, and 99% of the time, the people who are tasked with making the decision are the leadership. And they're not ever going to point at themselves first.
The very practice of management no longer works. It's you if you're in leadership. All right, I got to give you the cost, Dutch. If you just keep doing what you've been doing, unless you've drastically changed 2 weeks ago, here's the breakdown of the cost of the numbers. This is from the Gallup poll. State of the American Workplace. I broke this down, these numbers, so that you would understand per employee of the sabotaging. So 1 out of every 6 are sabotaging. They're actively disengaged is what they call it, but they are actively sabotaging your business. 1 out of every 6. It's costing you literally $3,400 per $10,000 of salary every year. Now.
Ooh.
Yeah, $3,400 per $10,000. So here's some numbers. I'm just going to run this formula that they have in there. So for 10 employees, here's the numbers. If you had for every 10 employees. Now, out of those 10, there's going to be a certain number. Remember, 1 out of 6 is a saboteur. So out of 10, it's like 1 point whatever, 1.5 employees. I don't know how you can get 1.5, but these are the numbers hold true. If you have 10 employees and the median salary of your 10 employees is $30,000 a year, it's costing you $17,544 every year. Now, that's the median salary. If you have 10 employees and the median, now you're the big boss and you're getting paid extra, you made the median salary go up to $50,000. If the median salary is $50,000 for 10 employees, which is about what I would say probably what it is for most companies, the median salary. Let's take everybody's salary and with $50,000. That's $29,000 per 10 employees per year it's costing you. If you have 10 employees and you're not doing learning and development to clearly communicate a target, clearly have them enthusiastic about the future, to effectively communicate. If you're not doing that, your leaders, it's costing you $29,000 per 10 employees. So if you had 100 employees, that's costing you $292,000 a year. If you had 10,000 employees, now it's costing you $2.9 million. And if you have 20,000 employees, it's costing you over $4 million a year to not take care of these issues.
Now I'll say this. So you hear all those large numbers, right? You hear all those large, and I hate to do this, but this is what it is. You hear all those large numbers. Now I want you to go to getworriedtough.com, and I want you to check out how much it costs to bring us in.
I know, right? It's a tip.
Because that's what people are dealing with. They're dealing with not what it costs to bring us in, but what it costs to not bring us in.
Right. So if you only had 10 employees, right, and they only make, the median salary is $30,000 a year, 10 employees, you bring us in, you're still going to break even. So if you have more than 10, or the median salary is more than $30,000, it goes immediately. You're in the good. You're making money by bringing us in.
Well, I'll say this: by bringing someone like us in, you're going to do that. If you bring us in, we promise. What is it? 100 times?
We do. We give 100 times the value. No question. 100 times the value.
And you'll see that once we get there and once we leave. And I say that, meaning that that's our goal with everything we do. But back to the average organization, if you just attempt to solve this problem.
Well, no, really won't get it right, because I take this Gallup poll, a LinkedIn report on learning and development just came out this week too, where here's 69% of companies say it's their number one priority is learning and development, but only 27% are actually putting any increase to the budget. So someone's lying. You can't have 70% of companies say their number one priority is learning and development, but only less than a third are actually putting any increase to the budget. And companies across the board, this is this year, 78% of them are doing in-house training. Now listen, unless you just started in-house training 2 weeks ago, if you had been in-house training before and you're doing what you did, you're still going to keep getting these same results of a disengaged employees, 2/3, because that's what you've been doing for the last decade, in-house training. Why would you think, let me ask you this, Dutch, why on planet Earth would you ever conjure in your wildest dreams that you're going to take employees who 2/3 of them are disengaged and have them teach other employees and hope that they will get engaged? Does that even make sense?
No sense at all.
You take disengaged employees and put them on the podium to teach a class that you developed in-house to try and get people to be engaged with people who are disengaged or passing the information down. I don't get it, man.
But that's what you got. That's what you got, and that's what people don't want to admit, don't understand. This is the first time they've heard it. But that's what we have going on in this country, and it needs to stop. We need to begin at some point to move forward. It begins with the individual, but if we can take organizations and do it, we have a lot of success. We train individuals and we train organizations.
We do both,
and we have great success with both. But as an economy, as an American economy. And I'm not limiting the international economy, because we've had international corporations reach out to us as well.
We have.
We're speaking to some right now about doing some things. But as the majority of the people that are listening that we touch on a daily basis, the American economy that we are intimately knowledgeable about how people feel every day, whether you're watching CNN or Fox News or whatever, people are intimately and directly affected and concerned with the economy in America. We cannot move forward without addressing these things. We have to get on board, and we have to revisit the first sentence that Andrew read tonight. You want to read that first sentence again?
I got it memorized already. The very practice of management no longer works. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter who's in control of the House or the Senate or who's in the White House, which we told you before the election that they ain't solving any of your problems. See, because these problems run deeper. Because you know who's involved in these problems? You are. They're your problems. I had employees. Listen, dude, I had listened to this conversation. I was in a group this past week, and it was taken over. It was one of those merger acquisitions, right? So another company came in and took them over, and these are the guys that are in leadership. They still had their jobs. They're in leadership, been taken over, merged, and they're like, we thought it was going to be different, but nope, it's the same old thing it was before. And I looked at them like, because you're here still. Like, what did you think it was going to change? You're in leadership still. It doesn't matter what name is on the sign or what hedge fund owns you, and you're still here. Wait, you didn't change any. Why would you think the company's going to change just because that changed?
And that seems like such a simple concept when you say that. It seems like such a straightforward idea when you say that.
They just looked at me like I had a third eye or something. They're like, what? Like, listen, man. You are still here. Like, wherever you go, it's still going to be. If you left this company and you went somewhere else, and you don't learn and develop and grow and have a purpose, you're still disengaged. You're bringing your problems with you. It's not going to be any different.
We got about a minute left.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about this. But how is it so tragically missed? No matter how plain you make it.
Dude, they were 100% shocked and serious. They were totally serious. Just, it's the same old thing, you know. We thought it was going to be different. I'm like, I'm like, are you kidding me? And they were just shocked. They were just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, it couldn't possibly be them. They're in leadership. They're in the inner circle.
And that's real.
You know,
that's real.
Stock options, equity, bonuses, stuff like that. Not just taking a paycheck. And and that's how leadership is acting, what do you think the rest of the place is going to be? I don't know. I'm just asking a question, man. Don't get mad at me. So we're up on a break, Dutch?
Yes, sir.
All right. You listen to the Get Warrior Tough Radio Show with Dutch and Andrew. We'll be right back.